Hey y'all, Dave here from Bluebirds Games here with another edition of $20 MTG budget decks. Today's video is a play on a deck I did earlier. This one is the Crazier Cat Lady. What makes somebody a Crazier Cat Lady? Well, more cats. Alright, so this one is a Selesnya or a green-white version of the Crazy Cat Lady deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at what cats we have in here today. Alright, so we started off with Loam Line. The reason why this is not in the other deck is because of the ability. It gets +1/+2 if you control a forest. This is a green-white deck. Most of the time, second turn you drop down the forest after putting this down on first turn, you've got a 2/3 creature. Sounds like a good plan to me, don't you think? So that is our initial 1-drop. Next is Leon and Vanguard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures, it gets +1/+1 and you gain a life. This is essentially a white-green weenie deck, but with cats. So you're going to have a lot of creatures on the board. Hopefully you can gain the life from that. The one to cast green creature I chose was Witty Bandar. I chose it for the indestructibility ability. Sometimes you just need a permanent blocker. Sometimes you could just put 3 mana to the side, put it like next to it, and always have at least an indestructible blocker. If you're overrunning your opponent, though, obviously you go on the attack. Scythe Leopard. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1. So say this is your first turn play, your second turn you drop down as a 2/2 attacker right off the bat. Leonin Sky Hunter. Evasion. It's a flying cat. Let that sink in for a minute. It's a flying cat. Got it? Okay. It's a 2/2 flying cat. So it's the evasion that I chose for that one. Long Tusk Cub. When this set was in standard, this was actually the energy deck was really, really popular. This was one of the reasons. It is a 2 to cast 2/2, so essentially it's a grizzly bear with abilities. It whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you gain 2 energy, and you can pay 2 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So every time it attacks and hits, it can grow itself bigger. So not a bad little addition. I see why it was played in standard. Scrounging Bandar. It's essentially, essentially it's a bear. So it's a 2 to cast 2/2 if you look at it in just straightforward. At the beginning of your upkeep, though, you may move any +1/+1 counters onto another creature. That's just in case you think that it's going to die, or you want to make another creature bigger if it has some kind of evasion, like, say, flying, because we know flying cats. Found this in my collection somewhere, so that's what actually started the whole making a green-white cat deck. It's a 2/3 for 3 with a reach to help with flying things. And if a creature is attacking you and you control plains and a forest, you may play this for basically free. So it's a way to, it's possible to get this out on second turn for free, and you've got a 2/3 reach. So it was just a little, little techie. Pouncing Cheetah was just for the flash. It's a 3/2 for 3. That's actually pretty good for 3 to cast. But the fact that it has flash is good for a little combat trick. Springing Tiger. It's a 4 to cast 3/3 with Threshold. I've explained Threshold before, but it says on the card, you have Threshold as long as you have 7 more cards in your graveyard. It gets +2/+2, so it can be a 5/5 for 4. I went with Pride of Lions. I found these in there, and I was like, ooh, that's a pretty good cat for green. It's a 5 to cast 4/4, which is okay. Its ability that it has is what kind of pushes over the edge. Basically, it just says that it doesn't matter if it's blocked, it still can deal its damage to the player. Or I guess it would be the Planeswalker since it's not on the card anymore. But yeah, you can make it deal damage as though it weren't blocked. Alright, so those were the cats. I do believe that this deck has, I think, 2 more cats in it, or 3 more cats in it than the original Crazy Cat Lady that was mono white I built. Hence the reason it's called Crazier Cat Lady, because more cats equals more gooder. The way to buff your creatures, I went with a little different strategy for this one over the white weenie version of Crazy Cat Lady. Pen and Blade says a quick creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. Your hope is that you have a whole bunch of one to cast, which I did include 8 of them in this one, is to have a whole bunch of one to cast, 1/1, 2/2s, or what have you on the board. 2 to cast, 2/2s. Get this on one, and basically form what we call Voltron, where you just swing in every time. So a couple of those. I've said it before, this is probably the best aura for white as far as creature-based decks go. It helps itself, and then it's in white, and white has a lot of help when it comes to enchantments and auras for their creatures, so I put these in there all the time. I put 4 of them in there, so they help each other. You get 2 of them in play, you have +2/+2 just for them alone. Alright, pacifisms to help for board control, keep your opponent's creatures at bay. Oblivion rings for possibly planeswalkers or anything else that's bothering you, artifacts, maybe even a creature itself. Could be anything that's not a land. 4 of them. For the rares, I explained to you before in the Crazier Cat Lady, I only have so many of these, so I can only put 1 of these in this deck, but it is a Cat Lord. Come on now. Gives them all +1/+1 and lifelink, and it brings 2 into play. Basically, it's the reason to make the deck. Noble Panther. This will be the one card you will have to replace with another Regal Caracal if you need to. If you're playing somebody who cares about type, but otherwise it's a 3 to cast 3/3. You can give it first strike. It's one of the bigger creatures in the deck. Again, you're gonna have to replace it if you're playing somebody who cares what you're playing. All right, Pride Sovereign. 3 to cast 2/2. Gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control. This card will end up being your biggest creature on the board. Even if you have another creature with the equipment on it, it will end up being that. The fun thing about it was it also exerts itself to put 2 1/1 creatures with lifelink into play. I gotta be honest with you, when I think of this card, I think of it as it's taking a shit to shit out 2 1/1s, because sometimes you gotta exert yourself for that. That's one of the reasons why I put it in the deck, though. I thought it was funny, I thought it was kind of neat, it had a different kind of ability, so it makes itself bigger by shitting out more 1/1s. The special card I went with, again, Eidolon of Blossoms. There's a lot of enchantments in this deck. White and green have an issue drawing cards. I figured if I put this in there, it can help draw cards for the deck. Alright, now for the lands, basic forests, basic plains. I went with, instead of going with gates for this one, I found some Tranquil Expanses in my collection to go with. Again, it doesn't matter which dual land you go with, as long as it's dual land that helps you get your stuff out. And Evolving Wilds, again, for that effect of, fetches are expensive, but you still need to thin out your deck from basic lands. So, that is Crazier Cat Lady. If you have any questions or comments about it, go ahead and do so below. Please like us on Facebook, like the video, follow us on Twitter. I do have a Twitter account. Subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more stuff. I don't know if you've noticed behind me, but there's a whole row of decks behind, in the background. I'm going to go over every single one of them. Go ahead and subscribe to this for any future content. Again, like us on Facebook. So if you don't feel like commenting on the video, you can go ahead and comment there. Either way, let me know what you like, what you don't like. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.